Hello, this message is for someone who is a grown-up. Okay, most of my messages are for grown-ups, I think all of them. But this is for someone who feels very adult and feels like their life is just about adulting, and they feel very overwhelmed by all the pressures and responsibilities of adulthood, to the point that you feel like there's not much room, time, energy, resources for you in your own life. You feel like you are not a main character in your life, maybe. Okay, like you feel like there's just so much going on and you have so many responsibilities that it's not really about you. Okay, and if this message is for you, you may have felt this way for a while, or it might be more of a new feeling. Regardless, you feel like you've built a situation, like a life for yourself, that like the train is already going. Okay, you can't get off this train. You got on the train is going, and you feel like the day-to-day is so intense of keeping up with your responsibilities that there's no room for you. And I don't even know exactly what that means, but if this message is for you, that will make sense to you. You don't feel like you count or something. Okay, and this roots all the way back to your childhood. Okay, this is a very specific message that not everyone's gonna resonate with, like I guess most of my messages, but this one is very specific. It's someone who in childhood was conditioned to never choose themselves. Okay, so it could be many different scenarios. I guess I'm seeing a number of different scenarios, but basically you had some kind of family situation where you were not ever given the option to do you or choose yourself, do what was best for you, or even in a more like frivolous manner, just you know, things be your way. Okay, I guess it's like the opposite of spoiled. You were the opposite of spoiled. It was never about you. It was always about either the group, because you had many siblings, or the parents, and you were the only child and you were not really main character in their lives. It was all about them, or however it went, it wasn't really ever an option for you to have things be your story. It wasn't you centric. Okay, and so this is something that you might have not even given much thought to or realized it or thought about at all. But if this message is resonating, this is sort of the seed that was planted in your childhood that allowed for a lot of less than good things for you to develop in your adulthood, from relationships to jobs to even getting like living situations, leases. I mean, I'm getting all these different examples, so I'm trying to stay focused on the core message, which is, you were conditioned, whoever this message is for, to never choose yourself, to not even see it as an option. And so then as a young adult, you continue to do that. And I'm getting, like maybe as a young adult, you kept allowing things in your living quarters that were less than ideal for you, but you failed to stand up for yourself or really identify like what choosing yourself would look like. Okay, like you never chose yourself in a number of important situations in your life, and it was always because you didn't know how. Okay, like this was not something that was modeled to you. So maybe it wasn't just that you were conditioned to never choose yourself. It's also you watched adults not choosing themselves in situations where they should have. Okay, so it's a combination of that. It's both a combination of it was never a thing for you, but also the adults who raised you, it was never a thing for them either. And so they never were able to either offer it to you or themselves. That kind of perspective on life of, I guess, I'm the main character of my life, so I choose things for myself. Now this, what I'm seeing is this led you to some selfish eras in your life. And so you might be a person, when you look back, that you might have had pockets of time in your history where you became overly selfish, and you maybe regret those times or look down on yourself about that or something like that. You don't feel good about how you behaved. Maybe you were very young, or I'm getting like it was 3 pockets of time, 3 eras that you had where you like allowed yourself to be some kind of worse version of yourself. Now, the reason you did that, I'm getting, is because since nobody taught you how to choose yourself, and you never saw it, you constructed it to mean being some kind of villain. This is because in your environment, people who chose themselves were also vilified. Okay, there was a combination of you watched adults who never chose themselves, and so therefore they never gave you the option to choose yourself. And also, whoever was actually going around choosing themselves in your environment was very much vilified and demonized by whoever was raising you. Okay, so all these elements made it so when you found yourself at the absolute limit and you had to choose yourself, since you didn't know how to do that, you instead allowed yourself to be a villain, because this person or people who raised you, that's the idea they gave you of what choosing yourself was. Okay, and so now you look back on those times as you kind of betraying your own morals, yourself, being someone who you didn't want to be. So you have further taken out the option of choosing yourself from your perspective, from your perception, because yeah, that's the only understanding you had of it, and now you've decided you don't want to be a bad person in account of choosing yourself. Now, here's the thing, choosing yourself is not about being a bad person or a villain at all, or selfish. You can be selfless and choose yourself. These are not things. You can think of others and keep others into account and also choose yourself. This is something one has to learn to do, though, little by little. This is why it's important to learn it in childhood, but many people don't learn that. And so it's about a balance, right, between caring for others, but standing in who you are enough to choose yourself. But it's all about win-wins, basically. Choosing oneself is about finding a solution to situations in which that works for you, but also that's right by others, okay? Because since you want to be a good person, I'm just going to assume you do. If you don't, maybe just go away. Because this is not the channel for you. But I'm going to assume you want to be a good person. So if you want to be a good person, you cannot go around being an asshole in the process that you choose yourself, because then you're going to hate yourself for it later. You're not going to feel proud of that because you want to be a good person. So it's all about finding a way to choose yourself while remaining very true to your highest value of yourself, and being the best version of yourself through choosing yourself. Choosing yourself is also choosing to be the kind of person you can be proud of, okay? So it's more nuanced than you were ever taught. So now that you know that, you can work on that. So hopefully this was helpful.